What's up, everybody? It's Friday night. It is the eve before we face Wisconsin, the last home game of the 2024 season. It is also senior day. Lots of seniors graduating. Lots to talk about over the last 2 weeks. First of all, sorry I've been away. I've been dealing with some issues, health stuff. I think I'm cleared now, but nonetheless, we are back. This is going to be a lot to cover this week. It has been an interesting week or two, right? I mean, obviously the stuff with Holgerson. I've been putting some content out about the press conferences and things like that, some posts, which hopefully you've tuned in and watched. Um, it's just been it's been kind of crazy. I mean, we had the loss at USC last week. Watched the game, had to take some personal time there to clear my mind over that loss. We've beat that horse to death. All the other media platforms, everybody else is talking about it. You don't need me to talk about it. You've heard it over what happened. So we won't touch on that unless it makes sense to what the content is for this week facing off against Wisconsin. Of course, there's going to be some stuff. A lot has happened. And one of the things that we've heard about, and I want to talk about this a little bit first, and this is more of a question for you guys and seeking your feedback. But first of all, let's not forget that click, like, subscribe, follow, get your content from the boy. Hats are coming in. Yeah, Nebraska 24, blackshirts.com. Swag is starting to come forward, but click, like, subscribe, follow along on whatever social media platform that you're consuming this on. YouTube, especially, it helps a lot if you subscribe so we can get this content to more people. Full transparency, I want to um, reach more people, spread Husker Nation, spread Husker love, but also spread Husker facts. I don't want to sacrifice the truth by just saying all the good things. Sometimes we got to say the tough things, right? So, speaking of tough things, right? Let's talk about one thing in particular with Dana Holgerson's press conference. Uh, First of all, let's talk about the press conference. I'm digging this guy. This guy is diggable. Straight shooter, confident, honest. Um, his position inside of the team and the coaching staff now gives him something that I don't understand exactly why Satterfield didn't have the ability to do, or Coach Rule, and that's just to say the hard truths, right? If you've watched the press conference, I'm sure you have. You know what I'm talking about. So let's not beat around the bush. Let's talk about that thing in particular. Holgerson said that when he didn't understand the perimeter blocking or the lack thereof, right? That I've heard so many other media people talk about certain things in that regard. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to ask this, and I'm going to ask you guys to comment below and give me your feedback. But if he says the perimeter blocking was so bad that he went and told them it's embarrassing, he told this to the players, all right? And they started perimeter blocking at USC. I think most people, and I know some of the other people out there, are going, hey, what was Satterfield doing? Timeout. Satterfield didn't coach the wide receivers. He coached the tight ends. What was Garrett McGuire doing? We talk about these great relationships that, and we hear about them, that Garrett McGuire's got these great relationships. And I believe he does. Don't get me wrong. I believe he does. But you can have a relationship without lacking leadership. And you can have leadership without having relationship, right? You have got to have both, right? And why, if we've all seen it, is that there's been perimeter blocking issues all season long. And why hasn't it been addressed? Why does Garrett McGuire not have the leadership credentials with the team to say those things? I get it. He's a young guy. He's barely older than them. But I've seen a lot of great young leaders. Dylan Raiola, he's a great young leader, right? He makes relationships, but doesn't sacrifice his position and tells the hard things. That comment should have been coming from Garrett McGuire as the wide receivers coach, that this is embarrassing. Um, maybe it was, but maybe it wasn't taken. That's the problem in the relationship, right? A relationship uh, is only good is if it's perceived on both ends as that's the position. Because you could say you're the leader, but if they don't see you as the leader, they're not going to follow, right? It's there's plenty of posters on the every car dealership's office board is patience, leadership, work ethic, and it's flying eagles on it. We've all seen those. There's plenty of those that has that. But there's some truth in those things, right? If you can lead all you want, but if nobody's following, you're not really a leader. Um, you can be a good coach, but if they don't take your coaching, then I don't know. Now, I'm not calling for Garrett McGuire's firing or anything like that. What I am wanting to know why Rule and them are not investing in this guy and understanding it, where he understands it. He has the relationships. The guys come to his office and hang out. Maybe they should be coming to the office and getting some coaching. And maybe they should do some listening instead of coming and getting Sprites and fruit bars or whatever it is you're serving up there. And you should be requiring it. Garrett McGuire, go get it, make it happen. So yeah, the fact that Dana Holgerson said it's embarrassing, told them they weren't playing. I hope that wasn't the first time they heard that comment. That would be not good. So supposedly this changed at USC. It did look like it was improved. Looked like there was still a lot of room for improvement there. Hopefully, we're going to see it against Wisconsin. This Wisconsin game is very, very interesting. Everybody, the procrastinators. I'll tell you who's procrastinating. The Huskers getting to 6 wins. That's procrastination. Quit waiting. But all the lines, the Vegas lines, and everybody out there, they're favoring Nebraska. My day job is I'm a systems engineer. I do data analytics. I do softwares. I work with AI. I work with all kinds of stuff. So, but the problem with AI is it's really dumb. It's as far as when it comes to sports things, right? But I took just some of the data and plugged it in there to see what the AI was going to predict for this game versus Wisconsin. And it actually did predict Nebraska to win. It predicted Nebraska to win 21-20. Now, that's not my prediction. That's AI's prediction. And I thought that was really interesting. And it kind of gave a scenario where Wisconsin was going to come out fast, but going to get the Nebraska's defense was going to adjust quickly, hold them to about 7 points. Then they were going to be some scores later on. It was really interesting. It didn't give a play by play or quarter by quarter analysis, but it's predicting Nebraska to win 21-20 over Wisconsin, and it doesn't seem that far off from what many people are picking as far as their scores and their predictions. I've realized this year that predictions are probably not for me, at least not against if I go straight up. With the spread, I'm probably pretty good. So maybe that's the way that I should focus and attack these things. So we've talked about Dana Holgerson, and I'm gonna go. I do not like Nebraska in a close game just based on history. It's not that they can't do it. It's just I know they can do it. Do they know they can do it? That's what we need them to know. If all of us are sitting watching this and they don't know it, then it's useless. We're cheering for them, right? Nebraska needs to get bowl eligible. I think it happens tomorrow against Wisconsin. Wisconsin still needs to figure out their game plan. Here's what I expect from Wisconsin. And I could be wrong on this because Fickle's not saying crap. All right. He's not telling anybody what he's doing. He's not saying who's calling the plays. As a matter of fact, I heard he was kind of chippy with the media there. And like, so here's what I think is going to do. I think this is their game plan. Is they're a team that's built to run the ball. I think they're going to try and run the ball down Nebraska's throat. I think that's what we're going to try and see happen there. They're going to try and manage the clock, keep the ball out of Nebraska's hands, keep it away from Dillon. But if we're seeing the things that were promised and we saw flashes of against USC, I think we're going to be okay. I actually believe, I'm not making a prediction, but I can easily see the game being Nebraska, 31 to 21, 31-20. I can see 28. So I'm going to take Nebraska in the points on this. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's where I'm falling. But I think Wisconsin's going to come out. They're going to be run heavy. They're going to try and their experiment with, wideouts and all the stuff that they were planning to do and let it rip and let it fly, which is what Fickle had, at Cincy. It doesn't work in the Big Ten. It does, but it doesn't. It just, you can't when the team isn't built that way. Wisconsin has been built in the trenches for running the ball, and that's what they did well. They're missing a lot of parts and pieces outside of the coaching staff for that to happen. Like on the field, the players, it's a good matchup, but it is kind of the matchup of the both teams fighting for a bowl win and bowl eligibility. Edge to Nebraska. I don't think they're going to adjust that quick that we're going to see a big change on Wisconsin's side, that you can't completely revamp the playbook with, all the travel roster and stuff like that. It's because they do have to travel. There's a lot in that week time at adjustments of firing Longo, which I don't think they should have done. I think Fickle caved to that pressure, but what do I know? Anyway, so I could go on and talk with you guys forever because I absolutely enjoy it, but I'm not going to do that. I'll be at the game tomorrow, obviously. It's senior day. I got to figure out if I'm going to be down trying to get some of that media. I'm only one person producing content here for theblackshirts.com. So I have to be a press box down on the field. Can't be both places at the same time. It's a little tough. But I'll be there. I'll get some stuff out. I may go live on TikTok or something. I think there's going to be an opportunity for that depending on the weather, things like that. So thanks everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. Go Big Red. Let's go get bowl eligible. Let's get to a game. And then I'll have to start selling some hats to pay for the bowl trip. I don't have any sponsors on this show. I'm not asking for any sponsors, but if you want to sponsor this show, I would probably welcome and talk about that. But so I have to, everything that comes out of my wife's mouth that she's starving, I'm taking the money. that she was supposed to live off of, and creating this content and stuff for you guys here with the black shirts. I'm just kidding. But if somebody wants to sponsor, maybe I'll put some swag together. We can get bowl eligible. We can go cover a bowl game. That would be fun. So, and have you guys come along for the journey. And we travel so well as a Husker fan base, right? So we go to a bowl game. There's rumors that, speaking of bowl games, I was going to wrap this up, but if there's a good chance that we'll get a better than average bowl, I don't think it's going to be the Pinstripe Bowl. I'm hearing that Nebraska could get Nashville, or, you know, a good bowl location, which would be awesome, but we got to get eligible. So there you go. There's my thoughts. Thank you everybody for the time, and go Big Red. Let's go get a victory. Tomorrow's game, 2:30. Dial in. There's lots of good coverage. So thank